the best investments I've ever made and the worst investments I've ever made at this point in my life. Time, energy, money spent in the past that can pay off for you big time in the future. It can give you money, it can give you time, give you energy, put you in a better situation in life with more knowledge, better health, better relationships, better work, etc., etc. Welcome in, fam. Much love, Trav here. Appreciate you. Glad to have you here with me today as we dive into investing in the best investments. And this is definitely not just from a financial perspective, although some of it is. We're going to talk about that, but basically investing is a present time sacrifice, it can be, or a present time use of energy that can have a big reward later on down the road. So I'm gonna give you some examples of that. But one thing, it's often a sacrifice, like, oh, I'm gonna spend my time to write this book, oh, I'm gonna spend my money to invest in this thing, oh, I'm gonna spend my energy to work on these projects, etc., and it will pay off later. But a lot of the best kinds of investments are fun as well. Like, it's not really necessarily a short-term sacrifice. This is nice in the short term, I like doing this, but it's also gonna pay off in the long term. So it's good to have the mindset where you're going to sacrifice some of your present term enjoyment. Marshmallow test, I'm not going to eat this one marshmallow. I'm going to wait till the second marshmallow comes around, right? But you don't want to be too sacrifice oriented, because then your current life, your present life actually will suck and you won't necessarily be able to get out of that. So there's a little bit of a balance here where you should be enjoying this in the short term, and but you can sacrifice a little bit. Some sacrifice is okay, not all. Okay, so best investments I've ever made. For me, the number one best investment that I've ever made has been basically the spending strategy of spending all my extra money on health food and spending all my extra time on working out. So that's paid off for me because I am in good health, which means I'm happier, I'm more energetic. I haven't missed work being sick basically ever. That means that I look better, which helps in society. It means that I have more energy. It means that I don't get sick. Repeating here, but there's kind of obvious stuff, like highly recommend as number one investment if you can. And that pays off on all the other stuff, just more energy to succeed and perform at all the other things. You only have one body, so why not make it as healthy as you can? And I'm not perfect, I've been drinking and smoking along this time at times. I've eaten junk food from time to time, but I invested in my body and my health and continue to, and that's been by far the best payoff. That also includes sleep, like invest extra time into sleep. I was lucky that I didn't listen to people who said, yo, that's lazy to sleep more. Actually, it's really good to sleep more. Most people aren't getting enough and they're jealous. So invest your extra time and money into your body. That will pay off tremendously. That's number one by a long shot. So that's number one for me. Number two, I can't rank the other ones because they're good. One of the other best investments I've made, best financial investment I've made, was our magic coaching business, MTG Training, MTG Mastermind. I spent a lot of time on that. Most of the time invested on that was invested into talking to people. Most of the money invested in that was invested in paying it to other people, obviously, to get the system going. And the reason why it's such a good investment is because it is a business that is still humming and it's still running, and it allows me, if I want to right now, to travel and to relocate, to change my industry, change my job. It's paying me without me having to work. It's not the most lucrative thing, but it frees up my time tremendously, and I can be involved if I want to be involved. So, best financial investment I made, the time and energy and money, was into building a business, not into passively putting it somewhere. I do have money coming back passively from it, but it's from relationships that I made, or an organization that I built together with friends who are still with me over the past 2.5 years now, almost over. It's over 2.5 years old, this business now. One of the best investments I made. Partially involved in that, actually a really good investment was spending a lot of time on sharing, sending out energy on social media, accruing followers. That's actually paid off pretty well. Like Facebook ads have been a good investment, really good investment. Facebook ads, dollar for dollar, has probably been the best investment I've made as far as money coming back. Never invested in Bitcoin, didn't get in at the right time, didn't get it at the wrong time either. Other really good investments. This one you could save time on, but investing and traveling around and figuring out the best place for me to live. Now I'm living in, I believe, the best place for me, and I'm not really too interested in searching for other situations because this one is so good. And that took a lot of time and energy, and you could probably do it more efficiently because I didn't need to spend so much time in Europe. It should have been obvious earlier that that wasn't the place for me. I didn't need to spend so much time in cities across the US. I should have been able to figure out Hawaii much earlier, but for me personally, but that was a really good investment, is all this. For me, the traveling that I got to do, I was lucky enough to do, it wasn't pleasure traveling. A lot of it was kind of, where should I live type situation. And that has paid off a lot because my life is great now because I found the right place for me, right? We're going to get to poor investments. Another good investment was I spent a fuck ton of time reading books, especially after I graduated college. Took a couple years to travel and then took a couple years just to read, really. In 2015, 2016 were big years of reading. I read hundreds of books and gave most of them away, really. And a lot of that knowledge, a broader general understanding of the world, understanding of people, a lot of psychology, read a lot of adventure, understanding of what life can be like, read heavily on business. That helped out. I couldn't have launched the business and done the business that I do without that. And that was a great investment. Continuing to invest friends, family around me, picking up the phone and calling people periodically. That's been a good investment, as my even long distance friendships are still strong. So to me, those are some of the best investments I've made. We'll go over some of the worst investments I've made. Oh, another one of my best investments was actually Tai Lopez 67 Steps. Information for $1, that's the best investment I made, $67. I know people are mad about him, but he's been such gold for me. I'm really feel indebted to him for that content. Oh yeah, bad investments. Okay, some of the worst investments I made, just straight money. I gave a couple grand to something that I didn't believe in and also didn't get the money back. That felt really bad because not only was the money wasted, but it went towards stuff that I didn't believe in. So I learned from that at least. So I'm not going to invest just financially because I think it will be good money, because you might not get the money back, and also even if you do or you don't, you'll feel bad. You could feel bad about what it goes to. Probably invested too much time and energy caring what other people think about me. Invested in people who don't like me or don't love me, and that time could have been better spent on other things. I've had poor investments on just majoring in minor things, as Jim Rohn says, spending too much time stressing over minutia and things that don't matter. And then best and worst is everything that I did with Magic, because with the competition, I spent all this time, invested so heavily, my time, so much time. It opened the door for the business, it opened the door for the travel, so I can't say that it's a poor investment. Definitely is a great investment, but on the other hand, that's not my calling. My calling, I believe, is working with the land, working with agriculture, working with animals and plants, and I should have started investing time into that earlier if possible, and that time had to come from somewhere else. So if I hadn't invested all that, maybe my situation wouldn't be as good, but maybe it would be better and I'd be further along in this mission. So hard to say. So I hope that opens your mind and gets you thinking about how to invest your time and your energy in the present and what you're going to get back from that in the future. Feel free to jump in the comments down below and share what your best and worst investments have been. They can be financial, they can not be financial, they can be health, they can be love, they can be happiness, they can be travel. As I've said, again, for me, by far the best investment that I made has been investing in my health. And I'm going to continue to do that. And then building a people business has been really, really good. And all the reading and traveling that I've done has been really good. I haven't had any home run financial investments. Those are amongst my losing investments. So different kind. Yeah, investing in people, building social media actually has been good investment as well. So hope you find that useful. Appreciate you for being here with me today. Look forward to hearing what you have to say in the comments down below. And talk to you soon. Peace out, fam.